Welcome to Buckaroo Talks, where we sit down with genuine voices who keep the West alive in their industry. Join us as we sit down with Isha Nicole. Now, here's our host, Punchy Bandita.
When was the moment you decided to trust your creativity?
I think my mentor, when I first started in creative direction, is the person that really instilled the confidence
Mm.
in me to be able to really lean into my intuition and know that when I got a gut feeling for something, to trust it. And I think that when you come from that space, the work that you create is way more authentic and it's in alignment to who you are as a person and really what you believe. So I definitely was the confidence from my mentor.
Okay, so mentors is what kind of brought you into that space and trusting that intuition of yours.
Yeah.
That's awesome. It's definitely an interesting perspective on the outside to look and see someone so powerful and such a powerhouse and take such a cool opportunity and take it from traditional to creativity. I feel like the Western world really needs that creativity space to bring more people to it. And
Well,
so
thank you. No,
that's
and
awesome.
that's one thing I'm really passionate about now that, I've been a creative director for 10 years is really fostering that same, how do I say this? Fostering that same confidence
Mhm.
in younger generation. I work with my team jokingly calls it Aisha's 30 under 30. And it's my team of, 30 people who are all under 30 years old.
I love
And
that.
I'm like the fairy godmother. I see my whole purpose as like fostering their natural talent,
Mhm.
giving them that confidence, instilling that in them, and then just watching them blossom.
Yeah.
So that was passed to me, and I feel a responsibility to pass that to the people that I work with now
Mhm.
in a very immediate way, but also just the general population, just instilling that confidence that like no one really knows what they're doing. Like
Yeah.
truly, we don't. Like
Mhm.
no one has a rule book and has it all figured out.
Right.
We're all truly faking it till we make it, and that's okay.
Mhm.
And you're leaning on other people and their talents. And when you have a really strong team, you can really create anything, even if you
Yeah.
don't feel like the expert to start.
Well, and I love that you come from a creative background and a creative aspect because it's traditional can really take away from the authenticity of really anything, any brand, any company, and in bringing that creativity draws more people in. And I feel like that's exactly what you're doing with your fairy godmother and your 30 under 30. It's definitely warm. It's warm and inviting and creative. And I feel like that really introduces people to it's okay, come to this space. And that's what you've done with Boot Barn in an aspect. And so that's awesome that you really have like your team, your group, your 30 under 30. I love that. I feel like you should have like a little Western wand.
Well, it's also like you curate sort of your network in time as well. So I
Yeah.
have my immediate team, but then also in time, like I've met these amazing people. And one thing I'll say about the Western space is if you if you show up with humility and you really show that curiosity that you're there to learn, like people want to help you.
Yes.
So I wouldn't be where I am today without all the people that have helped me along the way,
Mhm.
teaching me little things, what is authentic, what isn't authentic. I was an artist,
Mhm.
so I didn't grow up in this lifestyle. And so everything I learned was simply because I surrounded myself with these amazing people that
Yeah.
took a chance on me.
Hmm.
And what a blessing is that?
100%. Well, and including in a blessing, it's a blessing to the industry that you held true to the Western lifestyle. You didn't go so far out and bring a completely different aspect. You really hung true to Western culture, the industry, and still brought that creativity into it. And so it's really neat how your artistry shows across the board. And so it's a neat from an outsider's perspective and looking at you and kind of doing a little bit of my homework, it was neat to see the breakdown and then to go to Boot Barn and to look at what you've done creatively. It looks cinematic and natural and it's beautiful. It's
Thank
really
you.
it is a piece of art and you can see that.
Thank you. I always say that, like for me, the magic comes from finding the balance between what is fantasy and what is reality.
Mhm.
And so you sort of like, you walk that line because you want to honor the Western heritage and what is authentic. But from an artistic perspective, you're looking for like, what is that? Like, what is that thing that's
How
sort
can
of
we
unexpected? Like,
yeah.
is it just how you're shooting it?
Mhm.
Is it you're shooting low and the cowboy looks heroic in that moment? Like, is that the choice that makes it kind of a little bit of that fantasy?
Yeah.
Or is it something different? But yeah, that's the dance you play, and it's fun, you know?
It looks fun. It
Yeah.
looks fun across all platforms, from the Boot Barn outside on their Instagram and just any of their visuals. You can tell that there's that artist touch, that creative touch, and it's true to you, and it's something that you really want to show. And so it's not just something that I feel like you said fake it till you make it, but you faked it and you made it and you've made it good.
We figured it out.
You figured it out
As
along
a
the whole
team.
way.
As a team, we did. Yeah.
And so that's cool. And that you even include your team and your mentors, and that it wasn't just you, it was the people that behind you that put you here today. And it's really, really interesting. And it's so fun to look at, because for me, somebody that wants to be more involved in the industry, it's neat to see someone that's powerful, that stayed true to themselves, the creative side. You didn't try to own Western and the ranch lifestyle. You came from where you came from, and put your own touch on it, but still holding true to the industry. And so that's a very beautiful process.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
And I think it's kind of, we were talking a little bit earlier, it's true to how you are too. Like, you came from the Western space in some capacity.
Yeah.
But that now, because it's something that you're so passionate about, like, you're raising your daughter with those same values.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
but it's not, I didn't grow up on a ranch. I don't have a family brand. Like, I am a complete amateur on horseback. I know if I look at something, I know if something is like right or wrong, but I'm not going to pretend that like I'm a cowgirl, because I'm not.
Well, that's
but
honest.
but that's honest.
Yeah.
And I'd rather authentically be myself. And I think people connect with that better than pretending I'm this thing that I'm really not.
100%.
I'm an artist, and I respect and honor the American cowboy and the Western lifestyle, and I love it, and it's a passion of mine. But I absolutely am not handy. You don't want me during branding season. Like, I'm going to be the worst hand ever. And that's okay. I'm an artist. I'm here to capture it all.
Well, that's what we need, because I feel for the Western industry, sometimes it lacks that creative side, and that we can't depict, or that you can't really get the ranch lifestyle, the Western cowboy, and really own what it looks like. And so we need someone that's like you to really be able to showcase that and bring it to a whole new level. And
Thank
so,
you. Thank you.
in doing some of my homework, I saw a story, and I really want to know more about it, that you quite literally painted the stage for a fashion show for Boot Barn. And can you walk me through that process, what that looked like?
Yes. So that was our first fashion show, and that's actually how I got hired at Boot Barn. And essentially, how it came about is the CEO and the CMO knew I had a background in performance arts.
Okay.
And so they asked me to help them put on this first fashion show, and it was unbudgeted, and it was just for their store managers meeting. And I was so hungry for an artistic outlet. So I jumped at the opportunity. I worked with Boot Barn as a vendor for some time, so I was familiar with the team, and they were amazing, to work with.
Yeah.
But to be able to have my sort of like point of view of what the brand could look like, have that opportunity, I was like, yes, I'll do it. No money, no problem. No money, I could do it. Yeah, sure. Like, in terms of like the budget for hiring models and all the different things, like it was scrappy. So going back to your painting the stage question.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, we were doing everything. It wasn't just myself. It was myself and the 30 under 30. I'm just kidding.
30.
They actually, at that time, it was 30 under 2. Or no, 2 under 30.
Well, there was only 2 under 30. Everybody
and
else
it was me and one other girl. And we were, her name's Anna Smith. We were painting the stage, and we choreographed a flash mob, and there was a film that played in the background of the fashion show. Oh yeah, we were doing it all. And I acted in the film.
I
and
love
I
that.
worked with an editor. Of course, I was like, I will cast myself. No problem. Like, twist my arm.
Yeah.
It's actually a running joke with my team now, because I'm completely joking, but I'm always like, oh, the model couldn't come. Like,
what a shame. I'll just have to step in. That's all right.
Yeah. And I've yet to actually be able to cast myself. It's so sad. I've been doing this for 10 years and I've never once been cast. It's actually depressing. But anyhow, yeah. So yes, in that moment, it was very scrappy. That's how I got my start at at Boot Barn, and we were doing all the things,
You did
including
everything.
painting the stage,
Painting the stage, flash mob, you built
models,
models.
styling. We did it all. And yeah, and after the fashion show, the board of directors were there, the CEO, CMO, and he called me and he said, I need you to, quit your job and come work for Boot Barn.
So that was your real foot in the door.
That was my foot in the door.
I'm hungry. I'm going to take this
Yep.
opportunity. No budget. I don't care. I'm going to do it. Paint the stage. Do all that.
Yep. The models have to do this for $500, even though if you know models rates, that's not even close to reality.
You're like, take these dollars. Take them.
Like,
This needs to go.
Please help me. Please.
I'll fill in if you really need to. It's okay.
I'm already acting in the film. I might as well. But anyhow, yeah, it was wild. It was a wild chapter. And that probably the first few years, it was pretty scrappy like that as well. So it was myself and Anna Smith, and we were, putting on all the different photo shoots at the time. That was my sole responsibility. By year 2, I got like a second hire. And, by year 3, it's like I got 4 more. And
you started to build that 30 under 30.
I built the 30 under 30. And we really built an in-house creative agency, and that's what Boot Barn has now. So
very cool.
it's the same team.
So you kind of not only just created your job, but you took an opportunity and then built that opportunity to what you have today.
Absolutely, but also keep in mind, like, I had very supportive mentors.
Yeah.
So they wanted, they wanted
to help you.
They wanted to help me. And if it weren't for them, none of this would have happened.
Right.
So I'm just grateful for the opportunity.
So it's hats off to the mentors.
Yep.
You got the opportunity and then you started to create what you have. Yeah,
Yep.
that's awesome. Yep. Well, with creative, I feel like with people that are artists and creatives, that they end up hitting a lot of no's and low budgets, and you really took those obstacles. So what would be some advice that you would give to somebody in that same position?
I preach this to my team, and I look for this in hiring. I look for people with a yes mindset. It's so important because truly everything is solvable as long as you come from the standpoint of like, yes, I can do it. Yes, no problem. Yes, we got this. Yes, like my first reaction to everything is yes. And then you just figure it out.
Yeah.
So I always say, as long as something doesn't go against my morals, I will default to yes. And then we just keep on keeping on. And I think having that mindset is how you open up doors in your life, because I used to be the opposite. And I had this epiphany in college. I was at the time I really wanted to act. And I always thought like, oh, I'm not pretty enough, and I'm not talented enough, and I'm not enough to be able to take a chance on myself and try out an acting class and go to auditions and do the thing.
Sure.
And I just, after a while, after just feeling like I was consistently getting in my way, I decided, like, as long as it doesn't go against my morals, I'm just going to say yes, and we'll just figure it out. And that moment has completely changed my life.
Very cool.
So I don't know, it was probably God sent, but a light bulb went on, and it just became a new mantra. New mantra. So in my hiring, it's the same way. I look for people that see possibility and don't see limitations.
I feel like it's the concept of the glass is half full, not half empty, and you can work with whatever you've got. So that's very cool that you had that switch over from, I don't know if I can do this, I'm not enough, that can't aspect to, you know what, I can. And if I can't, I'm going to figure it out.
Totally. And I would rather fail and embarrass myself than look back at something and be like, darn, I should have tried. I didn't even try. So that's sort of the realization in my life. I'd rather fail.
Yeah.
Take the opportunity, take the chance, take the risk, and have less regret.
Exactly.
100%. Well, I feel like that's really empowering to anybody that's in that position of they feel like they can't. It's I can't. And that's such a limiting mindset. And then once you have that switch of I can, and no matter what the obstacles are, I'm going to figure it out on the way. And that's exactly what you did. You took it and you ran with it, and you made a huge impact with it. And so I see your work, and your work really reflects your mindset.
Thank you.
In young women today, I feel like, especially in the creative industry, what would you say would be a barrier that they kind of struggle with, and how would you mentor them out of that?
I think it's confidence. I think young women specifically, and I know this because I also was her before. I feel like we have a lot of doubt
Mm.
in ourselves, and I think the older you get, you naturally just become more comfortable in who you are,
Yeah.
and your confidence comes with that.
Hmm.
But I think at a young age, having a mentor who builds your confidence and celebrates your wins and what you're good
Yes.
at and really, fosters your growth with you, I think is pivotal.
Hmm.
So I definitely can say that.
Well, I also really liked what you said earlier when we were talking before, that especially with women, um, their beauty is last. Beauty is last, and everything about themselves is first. Their strength, their intelligence, what they do. You mentioned loving. I loved that because that is a strength, and that is something that we can really hone on. And beauty is the last thing to come.
Yeah, so I mentor some girls outside of the creative space and inside the creative space. And what I always say is make your beauty the least interesting thing about you. So,
That's powerful.
so to your point, I think we grow up in a society where unless if you have people who around you who are very intentional to celebrate
Yeah.
your intelligence and celebrate everything you can contribute,
Hmm.
how compassionate you are, how loving you are, whatever the thing is that is authentic to you. Unless if you have people around you who are very intentional with that, I think it's very easy as a young woman growing up to start to look at yourself and your value as your beauty,
Hmm.
your prom queen, your
Yeah.
most popular girl at school. It's all based on your appearance.
Yeah.
It's not really based on like, and she won the best math student or whatever.
She's
Um,
actually really smart.
yeah. And which is a shame.
Hmm.
And I also think with social media, it's amplified that where it's just become you've taken your popularity contest that is your used to be our high school, and now
Hmm.
it's magnified to the world's popularity contest. And a lot of it is truly based on your appearance.
Hmm.
And there might be more there,
Hmm.
but that's often the foot in the door.
Hmm.
And I sort of reject that.
Yeah.
So I think I think, women are beautiful beings, and, that's one tool you may have.
Hmm.
But it's not,
It's
it is
not
not
everything.
your value.
Yeah.
You are smart, you have so much to contribute. And so what I try
Hmm.
and do is extrapolate that and really focus on like, oh my gosh, and you're so good at this. And like, what are we going to do with that?
Yeah.
And okay, so now you're working on this, but what are these other things? We got to get more wheels in motion. We have to
Hmm.
like, let's build this career, but let's build this passion and let's do these things. And so I always just try and rally behind young women and men too, of course, but
Hmm.
the people that I mentor, I try and rally behind them so that they see how beautiful the rest of the world sees them for
Yes.
everything they can contribute.
Well, and that take is so, it's powerful and it's meaningful, and it brings you back to exactly what I feel like you are, is authentic and true to yourself, and beauty's the last, but everything about yourself is the strength. And I love that take. It's especially coming from you. You're a powerhouse. You're stunning, but I definitely see you are so intelligent, and that is where you come from. And so I see how you mentor other women. That would be the case as well.
You.
So, with any big project creatively, you're going to run into some resistance, hurdles, or some things that you're going to need to work through. I know that you had a big part in creating the headquarters for Boot Barn. So, what did you experience in that?
So, so I really wanted a 4-story waterfall
Okay.
that connected the 4 floors.
Go big or go
I
home.
mean, keep in mind, this is the same person who is like, I want a horse on the top of the Empire State Building. And everyone's like, we can't do that. And I'm like, okay, well, what building can we get a horse on?
Give me a
Yeah.
building and I want a horse on it.
Yeah. So anyhow, yeah, you solve for yes. Going back to that, always we're solving for yes. So in the case of, I guess your broader question is, how do you push against hurdles
Yeah.
and, push through that? And it's truly about surrounding yourself with yes mindset
I was
people.
just gonna say, I feel like you
Yeah.
you have a theme of yes, always, how can we
Always.
do it?
Yep.
What building can I put a horse on
Yeah.
versus I don't like the no answer. So
No.
no,
No
cowgirl
isn't
up.
an option.
Yeah.
Yeah, cowgirl up.
Cowgirl up or sit in the
Yeah,
truck.
right, exactly. So anyhow, no is not an option. So tell me what the yeses are.
Yeah.
And honestly, and this sounds awful to say, but if people are telling you no, it just means you're asking the wrong people. So just
100%.
keep going. Like you
Yeah.
know your truth.
Mhm.
And so just keep pushing. So that's, I think, to answer your broader question. But in this specific nuance of a waterfall inside of a 4-story building, yeah, we reached out to a bunch of different vendors until someone said yes, and then figured out like, okay, the issue is mold. Like, okay, well, we could do it this way and that'll solve for that. The issue is spray. Well, we could do it this way and solve for that. And so
Mhm.
I think just aligning yourself with other people who have that yes mindset, you can always accomplish whatever the
Yeah.
vision is.
I love that, especially going it stays true to your theme, always having a yes and putting yourself it's the answer is not no. It's just who do you ask next for the yes? And
Totally.
so it's that continuing I'm going to get the yes eventually. It's
Yeah.
just I asked the wrong person this time, but let me ask the right person the next one.
Right.
And so I love that. A 4-story waterfall inside the HQ headquarters, I think is accomplishable. I
It
definitely see
is,
it.
you know?
When you first got introduced to Western culture, what really drew you in about it? Was it storytelling, the lifestyle, the heritage? What was your first like real drive?
So I was at NFR. That was my first time working in the Western space. And I remember walking in and someone was wearing snakeskin cowboy boots. And I had no idea that Western could look like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so initially it was the fashion.
Okay.
And then once I learned sort of the values of the West,
Mm-hmm.
a focus on family, doing what's right, not what's easy, helping
Yes.
your neighbor, being honest, like, when you shake someone's hand and you look them in the eye, that's just as good as a contract.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying a lot with very few words. There's a certain sincerity, there's a humility to that. So once I saw all those values, and there's more to that, tenacity, grit, all the beautiful things that make up the West. Once I saw that, then I was hooked, and that's really why it became a passion for me.
Very
Is
cool.
that became my North Star of like, this is the person I want to be.
Mm-hmm.
So
So it took your creative outlet when you saw snakeskin boots at the NFR and you
yeah.
said, I want more of that.
Yes, exactly. So it started with the fashion, but it was the values that kept me here.
Given your unique path in the traditional industry, what does female leadership look like today for you?
I would say, I guess I'll back up and give a little context. I think my perception of corporate America, and this is not how it is at Boot Barn at all,
Mm-hmm.
but just the general perception is that team leaders treat their team members almost like in a little bit more of a militant
Mm-hmm.
perspective. Like you have to be at work at a certain time,
Yeah.
clock in, clock out, accomplish these tasks, write you up if you're not performing, and instead of taking that approach, I was very fortunate at Boot Barn and with the female leadership I had there, to really sort of recognize that people perform best
Mm-hmm.
when they feel like you care about them.
Yes.
And I do care about them.
Mhm.
So it's actually just authentic as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, people need to know that their professional growth is really important, of course, to me, but I also am very invested in them on a personal level.
Yeah.
And I care about their growth in a personal aspect. And so, in how I lead and how my mentors led me, there's a lot of compassion
Mm-hmm.
and empathy and understanding. And I think that's really important to insert more of a personal connection, in a very professional way, but in the workplace. Because we spend all of our time at work.
Mm-hmm.
Like truly, like, I have a lot of empathy. I have, moms on my team and dads. And I have a lot of empathy for their life. Their child gets sick, they can't come to this thing because of that. The school thing happens, they need to go do that. And I always try and create a space where they feel like, from a leadership perspective, that I understand that the most important role that they have is not to be manager of events,
Mhm.
it's to be a mom.
Yeah.
And I respect that. And, I honor their, their family and, different responsibilities that come with that.
Mhm.
And, my goal is that they feel respected, understood, heard, they feel cared for.
Right.
And just as much as they feel like I'm challenging them in their careers and growth within their careers.
Well, you definitely take the initiative to be more about the person and less about somebody filling the room. And I feel as if that would bring somebody's A game that much better. Like my boss cares about me at a different level. So I feel open to going to her about X, Y, and Z. So it's a lot more, you definitely give that compassion, caring more about that person, mom, dad, individual, and less about you're just here to clock in a number, you're here and that's it. And
Yeah.
it's more I care about you. So that's very neat.
Yeah, I feel very lucky. One of the girls, thinking about our 30 under 30s,
Yeah.
my second hire, her name is Sienna, and I remember in her job interview, she, she was just like, "I want to travel." She's fresh out of college. She had
Yeah.
this very naive and ethereal feeling to her,
Mhm.
and I was so overwhelmed at the time because I'm in the thick of this rebranding and we're so understaffed. And, so I'm like, "Great, pack your bags," you know?
I have a job for you.
I have a job for you. And I was like frantic. But fast forward, I went to her wedding in October and I've watched her over the last 9 years develop into a young woman and now a wife and probably one
Awesome.
day soon a mother. And to me, that is the biggest privilege I can have is that I got to see um, her grow in her life.
Mhm.
And I don't take that lightly.
Well, that's a full circle moment where
Mhm.
you had a fresh out of college, she was excited and all she wanted to do was travel to now she has like grown into this
A
mother or
woman.
well, a woman,
Yeah.
not mother, grown
Yeah.
into this woman and
Mhm.
she went into being a wife and you got to experience that firsthand. So that's very cool that you were step by step with her and that brings you right back to caring about the person and not just an employee.
Absolutely.
Thank you for listening to Buckaroo Talks, where we sit down with genuine voices who keep the West alive in their industry. Join us again on August 28th for the next episode. Now, let's get back to Punchy as we wrap up.
Cowgirl legacy is our theme. What kind of legacy do you want to leave in the Western world?
That is a really good question. I would love to leave the legacy that people feel empowered and unstoppable in whatever they decide to do in their life, whether that's a creative endeavor within the Western space
Mhm.
or just generally speaking, within whatever their passions are and whatever crafts they're focusing on. I I would love people to know that I'm rooting for them and, there's always a community of people who want to rally behind you. And as long as you have, you come with a mindset of wanting to learn and grow and you come with respect,
Yeah.
there's always going to be people who want to see you succeed.
Mhm.
And so I guess what I'd want my legacy to be is I want people when they thought about the creative work that they see, that they think about the mindset that came with it and that
Mhm.
they have that capability, that
Mhm.
they should say yes and take a chance on themselves and they are capable of doing whatever dreams they seek out in their life.
Yeah.
Because I think for me personally, and I recognize I'm still young in my career. I've
Mhm.
been doing this for 10 years and, I have 50 more to go. um, but
Just getting
we're
started.
just getting started. We really are. And I I feel very when I look back and I have sort of those introspective moments, I feel like there was always a community of people who were rallying behind me
Mhm.
and there to guide me and all it took was just me taking a chance on myself. Just me turning on the switch and being like, yes, I can do this. And
Yeah.
everybody was waiting there and ready to like help.
Yeah.
So I would say I want people to know that they are capable of whatever they're dreams are.
Well, again, it just takes you right back to the yes, and you're capable and you can do this, and not having that can't mindset and really switching it to you can. And I feel, especially in the Western world with cowgirls specifically, it's this ebb and flow of, well, can I be there? Should I be there? It's more of a male dominated space. And giving yourself that confidence of you can do this is exactly where you come from. And so,
Totally. And also giving yourself the permission to occupy space.
yeah.
Like you're allowed to show up and
Mhm.
be yourself and be authentic.
Mhm.
And maybe you're not going to be everyone's cup of tea, and that's okay.
Mhm.
Like you don't have to be liked by everyone, you don't have to be celebrated by everyone, but you have to be able to confidently know who you are and know what you're capable of. And just it's okay. Give yourself the permission to, like, maybe I don't know how to do this now, but this is what I want to do,
Mhm.
and you'll figure it out.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is okay to take up space, and that failure aspect that you talked about earlier, where failure is okay, saying yes is okay, not being good at something's okay, and then continuing it out regardless of the outcome, and making sure that you really stay true to yourself is exactly what I feel like you're doing a great job at teaching young women and people in your 30 under 30, or men and women, both sides. It's really neat to see you not just hone in on one, but really care about the people in general, that it's not just the people that work with me, it's my team. And you're very inclusive, and it's nice to see. It's refreshing.
Thank you. No, I I think it stems from the idea that people included me.
Yeah.
That everyone had a choice to not take a chance on this 25-year-old girl straight out of college that had no idea what she was doing.
Mhm.
That was completely a choice.
Mhm.
But somebody took a chance on me, and people were there rallying behind me to help grow me in my career, in my creative endeavors. And I just hope that I get the opportunity to do that for other people as well.
That's amazing. Well, I'm so glad I got the opportunity to talk with you today. This is
So
amazing.
fun,
So
Punchy.
Punchy Bandita.
Punchy. Best
Thank you.
nickname.
I appreciate it. Well, great talking to you, and I'm so excited to see where you go from here.
We're just getting started.
Just getting started.
Amen.